huge in just a few minutes. But in today's conversation, we're going to be talking a lot about how do we understand the analytics in YouTube so that you can monetize your video presence, so that you can create marketing messages that actually bring you clicks. So again, this is Carmen Rojas with the Rojas Consulting Group. You are in the right place for analytics made easy. Today's show is all about YouTube analytics. So let me give you just a little bit of a preface. This show, we're going to be talking about analytics in YouTube. We're not going to be talking about how do you put together a YouTube video or where to click or how to edit or what to say. None of that. We're going to be talking about how do you use the information YouTube gives to you so that you can make smart marketing decisions. So that is the focus of what we're going to be covering here. This is the third of our conversations about analytics in social media. We spent Monday, we talked about Facebook analytics. On Wednesday, we talked all about Twitter analytics. And today we're talking about YouTube. So let's just revisit a few of the things that we talked about in the earlier shows that definitely apply here into YouTube. When we mentioned before with Facebook and also again with Twitter, the only people who make money on social media are the social media platforms themselves. YouTube is actually owned by Google. So who makes money on YouTube? Google does. Google Ads, Google makes money on YouTube. You make money when people leave your YouTube video and make it over to your website. That's what you're wanting to accomplish. That's your goal. That's what your focus should be, is not just to have a video, but actually to have conversion from your video to your website. That's the goal. So keep that in mind as we go through today's topics, but also as you're creating videos and whatnot. You know, if you want to post videos of the first time your daughter walked, or, you know, when you got a new dog, or, you know, your son's basketball game, or any of that stuff, that's fine. And that's YouTube is all, there's definitely a platform for that. But if you're trying to use YouTube to improve your sales or as a marketing piece, then absolutely conversion has to be foremost in your mind as to what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And that has to be the central goal. So conversion from your YouTube video is the Mac Daddy metric from YouTube, and it's the Mac Daddy metric from any social media platform. Okay. The second thing we're going to talk about, the number of followers in YouTube. There's some not conflicting, but I think people get confused about something, and they think that they're super successful when you have a YouTube video that gets 1,000 views or hundreds of views, or even some that go viral and get millions of views. Those are great. Excuse me, for that video. But what you really want are subscribers. Those are people who have actually found your content to not only be interesting or funny or compelling, but they like it so much that they're going to come back on a regular basis, or they want to be made known about how many, you know, when you're posting new stuff. So there is a way to see the difference between that. When you go to your page, and I'm assuming that, again, that you've already made your own YouTube page. Let me go click on mine real quick. There you will see at, I believe it's just at the very top under the banner, how many subscribers you have. The videos, that number that shows next to the video is not the subscribers. That is simply how many people have watched each video. So keep that in mind. It is useful to know who has watched, how many people have watched each video, because it does tell you things about how many people have liked each video, which will tell you things about maybe where you should be writing blogs, or what things you should be tweeting about if you know that these videos are popular. So that's a good thing to know, but like I said, it's not the end all be all. What you ideally want are subscribers. And also at the top, it'll also tell you views. And that's just kind of the cumulative total of how many people have viewed videos on your page. And that's important. But again, it's not, anytime anybody opens a video, it counts as a view. Whether they watch the whole thing, it just, that's all it tells you. So you kind of have to be a little bit careful about what a view is in YouTube. It doesn't, you know, just because you have a ton of views doesn't necessarily mean that you're actually gaining traction, or that you're actually accomplishing your overall goals. But let's talk a little more specifically about YouTube analytics. When you go into YouTube, if you go into the Creator Studio, on the left-hand side, there's a drop-down of all kinds of different options. And if you'll go, about halfway down, well, about 2/3 of the way down, it says Analytics. So you click on it, and it will tell you all kinds of lovely bits of information. So watch time, for example, which means how long are people watching. Ideally, you want people to be spending more time watching the videos. So, excuse me, there's a little arrow that'll be green or down. Your average view duration would be, on average, how long are they actually watching? The views, ideally, you would want those to be increasing. Likes, those are just the little thumbs up under the videos. You'd like to see those. That's a way of measuring engagement, but also comments, dislikes. Shares is a very popular metric, a very important one if people are actually looking and paying attention. And let me show you kind of my screen so that you can see what I'm talking about here. But yeah, shares right here, that's important. And then obviously over here, subscribers, and this is the change in subscribers. So again, also change in likes, change in dislikes, all of that kind of stuff. So the change in subscribers, we had 1 additional subscriber from the period October 20th through November 16th. Comparatively, we've had more. So our top 10 videos, some of these are videos we did for clients. Some of them are my own personal videos. But you'll see, this is one we actually did for our client called the Buddy Bench. And it had, 83, a watch time of 90 minutes at 83%, views 91 at 81%. All of that good stuff. So it tells you all this lovely information, and you can actually check it out and look at it per video. So that tells you a lot of interesting things about what's going on your YouTube page, and also looking at your demographics. What's interesting here is if you compare your YouTube demographics to maybe your Google demographics, if you're using Google Analytics, which we've talked about, and I definitely think you should. You'll also find here female versus male. Who's watching this. And again, this information is available because this is a Google product. If it wasn't linked to your Chrome or your email, none of this information would be possible. So, as you get people that kind of grumble about how intrusive Google can be, this is why, because they give you information like this, which is incredibly useful to you as you create specific marketing messages. Here we've got traffic content, traffic sources and external. Is it external content? Is it some other YouTube features? All that good stuff. What's working well for you? Where are people, looking at your content? Are they watching on YouTube? Is it embedded in some other external place? Are they watching it on a channel? All of that information is very useful, again, as you are creating targeted marketing messages. So let me scroll back up here. This is all basically kind of the dashboard and what you just see when you automatically log in. If you get into some of the, some more of the specifics over here on the left, let's take a look at demographics. Takes a second or two for it to load, and you get a bit of a deeper look. So not only do we know that we have more females than males, but here's an interesting fact. At 45 to 54, I actually have more males than females. But let's think about it. For my target audience of, CEOs or business owners or, directors of marketing, that's not usually this demographic of 25 to 34-year-olds. Entrepreneurs, yes. People who are in early stages of life, are this category. But it's interesting to note that as we get older, I get more followers. So that's an interesting thing to kind of think about as compared to my ideal customer profile. Another thing to look at here, you can look at viewer age and how much watch time and all of that, which is a very similar graph than that's up here. I think it's just laid out in a numerical format. And you can also look at it, by the video, who's watching this. The buddy bench was one we did for a school, so it kind of makes sense. Kids in schools. We got a ton more moms that are interested in this, or females, let's just say. I can't assume that they're moms, than males who did it over here. So again, that just tells you something interesting about your marketing message and how you can further, laser focus it in. There's all kinds of different ways you can look at things. They've got a line graph and, charts and pie graphs and Venn diagrams, all of that good stuff. It just is a different way of displaying the kind of information that you would need. And here's an interesting note. One thing that I like about YouTube is that the color contrast is pretty distinct. I posted a while back ago about a graph that I actually saw on CNN, and they were all different grades of red. The graph was, but it was a state-by-state graph. And so you had states that were right next to each other with like maybe 1 grade difference in how pink something was. And it was incredibly difficult to read. So I like the fact that Google or YouTube makes such distinct color choices so that it makes it very easy to see the difference between what's going on there. So another interesting thing that we can look at, we've been doing some live streaming. So this report, as it'll tell you, it only replies to videos of past live streams. It doesn't seem to want to be showing up there, but that's okay. We're going to take a look at where are people coming from, which is also really interesting. So here we can look at other YouTube features, YouTube search. Are they searching through YouTube? Or external typically means that's a link coming from someplace else. So probably this is my Facebook links. These are Twitter links, emails that I've sent out saying, hey, come watch this. Other YouTube features, that's an interesting one. I'm honestly not 100% sure what that is. But you've got YouTube search, director unknown, channels, et cetera, et cetera. That's pretty self-explanatory. But I tell you what, let me look into what other YouTube features are, and we can certainly get a better answer for exactly what traffic is that. What's interesting is, again, as I mentioned, people who may not watch your whole video, but there's a little bit less bots here. We talked about bots in an earlier show about how that kind of messes up your Google Analytics, but there's just not as much of false data showing up in YouTube. And that's interesting because YouTube is the world's 2nd largest search engine. Not many people knew that. So if you're finding that your Google Analytics data is skewed with bots, then one place to kind of go and take a look and see what's really going on is to come look at your YouTube videos. It's an interesting idea. So that's YouTube Analytics in a nutshell. I think, again, YouTube is a fantastic place to test things out. If you're a fan of the lean startup like I am, it's an amazing place because you get, actionable metrics that you can access immediately, that will tell you things about how to grow your business, what things are appealing to people, where might your customer audience be. That kind of information is extremely helpful, and you can get that when you use your YouTube Analytics. The other interesting thing, and we're not going to go into deep details with it, but the idea of being able to put button links into your YouTube videos. You actually can drop links directly into the video. You guys, I'm sure if you've ever watched a YouTube video, you've seen people do that. You can add that UFM code that we talked about before, so that you can actually track that traffic all the way through your website. So YouTube, just like any other social media, their ability to tell you what's going on with that audience ends at YouTube. So once they leave YouTube, they can't tell you anything else. But if you use the UFM code, it tells you more about what's going on once that audience comes to your website. So you'll be able to see, are they converting? Where are they falling off? Is that audience having a harder time with my button copy than another? That type of information, which again, makes it better for you, makes it easier for you to have more effective marketing messages. So that is, in a nutshell, YouTube Analytics. So this week has been a lot of fun. We've been talking about social media analytics. As I mentioned, we talked about Facebook and their analytics, Twitter, and now we've just wrapped up YouTube. If you would like for me to take a deeper dive into some of the other analytics platforms, then I'd be more than happy to do that. You just need to leave me a comment below. And as we get ready to launch next year's set of Analytics Made Easy webcasts, then we'll definitely take a look at that. And definitely, if you've got any questions or comments or concerns about anything that you've seen, leave me a message. Even you over there on YouTube, if you want to post a question there, it does come through and I will see it and I will answer you. So please leave a question, and I'd be looking forward to hearing from all of you. I think next week we are going to be talking about predictions for 2017. So for your digital marketing business in 2017, what kinds of analytics predictions, what kinds of things should you be planning for? How do you get ready for 2017 in an analytical sense? So that is going to be the focus of our last week of shows for 2016. We will take a break the week of Christmas and the week of the New Year. So we'll get started again, what I believe is the second full week in 2017. So we will be taking a break. Perfect time for you to be posting your questions and comments, and we'll be coming back to you then with some juicy bits of information about analytics. I hope this has been helpful to you. Have an awesome day. We'll be back next week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, same time, same place. Look to see you then. Bye-bye.